am just finishing the final touches tonight. I've put the corrections on my dissertation on end times, how the world's going to end according to the Bible. Man, it's this 4-year project.
Wow. So, hey, give me a little teaser.
Well, I, for 40 years, believed in the pre-trib rapture.
Yes.
I thought we're getting out here before the tribulation. And in 2009, I was reading the book of Daniel, and Daniel 7 is what really got me started, because it says, the Lord takes over the world, and then it says Satan hurts the saints. And I said, wait a minute, I thought they took the kingdom and God took over. And if you read through Daniel 7, it confused me badly. So I began studying and working, and I realized, my whole thinking on this is wrong. It ended up, that's all in part 4 of the book, which will be coming out probably in the next couple of weeks. But we're here for the tribulation, but we're not here for the wrath. When I do debates against atheists and evolutionists, I did 100 of those. I'm real cautious to define the word evolution. Exactly what do you mean? Because there are 6 different meanings to it. I think Christians have been negligent, in America especially, to not distinguish between tribulation and wrath. Tribulation is what the world does to us. And Jesus said, in the world ye shall have tribulation, John 16:33.
Yes.
But 1 Thessalonians 1:10 and 5:9 says, we're not appointed unto wrath. Wrath is what God does to the world. And Jesus said, we're going to have tribulation because of the Word. And because we represent God and teaching His Word, the world's going to hate us, and they're going to kill us.
Yeah.
And so what happened in 1830, a Scottish girl named Margaret MacDonald, 15-year-old teenage kid, had a dream that the church gets raptured out before the tribulation. And so she told somebody about the dream, and they published it in a magazine from the Caledonian Catholic Chapel or something like that, some cult down in England. And they said, wow, the church gets raptured out before the tribulation. Yay. And that spread from there to half of America now, and all kinds of movies and books been written about it, and it's just not true. Man, I wish it was, but it's not.
Oh, I agree with you. As a matter of fact, when I do my research into this, I think of Matthew 24:21.
Right.
And what he said about the tribulation, for then there shall be a great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. I mean, what does that say about the tribulation?
It's going to be bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, if you look at Revelation 5 and in Daniel chapter 7 or 9, I forget, it says 10,000 times 10,000 stand before the throne. That's 100 million that apparently are going to be beheaded. Hitler killed 6 million Jews plus about 5 million others. And Stalin killed like 60 million. Mao Zedong or the communist leaders in China have killed near 60 million. There's going to be 100 million that are going to be killed for their faith, probably by beheading. And
how many people do you think have been killed over the course of time by the United States in the name of freedom and democracy?
Well, we've killed nearly 60 million babies in the womb before they get a chance to even get out and vote.
That's right. Right.
If any nation ever deserved God's judgment, it's America, and I hate that. I got 5 grandkids, 10 and under.
Right.
I hate what's coming, but it's coming like a freight train.
What helped me with my prophecy in my study into prophecy was a book by Uriah Smith, Daniel and the Revelation, and that was a very eye-opening book that took Daniel and Revelation and side by side went through each verse and kind of gave you a background on it, showed you the connections between the two, and that's kind of where I formed my opinion on the post-tribulation rapture, because the pre-trib rapture just does not fit Bible prophecy at all.
I agree. And here's the key verse I think that finally got my attention was Daniel chapter 8, 12, 13, 14, right in there. Daniel listened to one angel talk, and he says, how long is this temple going to be desolate? He says 2,300 days. 2,300 days. I said, wait. Everything else involving this tribulation time talks about 1,260 days or 42 months or 3.5 years or times and dividing of a time. It's always 3.5. What's this 2,300? Well, that's the whole key. The time of the desolation of the temple runs past the end of the tribulation by 1,040 days. 2300 minus 1260. So that's almost 3 years. 2 years,
Right.
10 months, 20 days. So that little less than 3 years, that's the time of wrath, when the trumpets, there were 7 trumpet judgments and 7 vial judgments, and it just all began to click together like a big Sudoku puzzle. Like, I got it. And then Roland Rasmussen's book is fabulous. He came out in '96. I preached at his church in Southern California, Canoga Park, and he gave me his book. It's called The Post-Trib Pre-Wrath Rapture. But while I was traveling, I was preaching 900 times a year on creation and evolution, and I didn't get time to read it. I stuck it on the shelf. But after I got into prison here, fighting this case with the IRS case against our church, of all things, which we're going to win, by the way.
Yes, you absolutely are going to win.
Eventually. I keep all the stuff posted on 2 Peter 3 if you want to take a look at that. The number 2, the word Peter, and the number 3.com.
Very good.
Lots of good stuff on our case there, and things people can do to help. But I had my wife send in the book by Roland, and I read it, and it was exactly what I was coming up with. Like, whoa, this is correct. We're here for the tribulation. Anybody left alive is raptured out, and then the wrath falls for the next almost 3 years, 1,040 days.
Yeah. You know what else I look at too is I always think about the dream, Nebuchadnezzar's dream, and where we had the statue with the head of gold,
right,
and so on. And now we're at the point where we're at the feet made of clay and iron, and the two can't cleave together. So in these days, they're going to try to bring about a new world order or a one world government, but I think in the end they're going to be unsuccessful, because at that point God's going to bring it in. Or going to end, or let's just say, make sure that that doesn't happen. And at least I hope and pray that that's the case. But I look at some of the goals that Adam Weishaupt set out back in 1776 when it comes to what they wanted, what their goals were. Abolition of all ordered governments, abolition of private property, abolition of inheritance, abolition of patriotism, abolition of the family, abolition of religion. And you look at that and you say, good grief. I mean, they are just trucking along at breakneck speed right now. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Satan has always had his plans to rule the world. I mean, he tried it with Nimrod. He tried his, Napoleon, Hitler. Who knows how many would-be pinky in the brain world rulers there have been. And it's really Satan who wants to control the world. It all stems from him. Isaiah 14, I will be like the Most High. So I think Adam Weishaupt is just another in a long chain of people who wanted to control, and they all have their plans, but it's real obvious they're all coming from the same source.
Right.
From Satan.
That's the one thing I tell people, is that, in order to understand things at the most critical level, you have to be spiritually grounded, because at its root, this is a spiritual battle of good versus evil. And I don't think enough people really truly understand the powers behind all of this. You know what I mean?
Right. And they're dedicated. I mean, Christians go to church on Sunday and come home and forget it for the rest of the week. And
right.
The ones who are working for Satan, and most of them don't even know that they work for Satan. Many would deny he even exists.
Right.
Which, of course, is the perfect thing for him. He can pull the strings, puppet master behind the scenes. But they are dedicated to their cause of this one world new government, new world order, abolish religion, and they're just much more dedicated than we are, sadly.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Boy, I tell you, it's easy. Let me ask you something from behind the bars. How's the information flow going in and out? I mean, are you able to keep up on current events?
Oh yeah, I've been at a camp the whole time. They moved me 13 times because I keep fighting my case. But the federal prison system has camps, which is the lowest security. There's not even a fence around here. It's a big dormitory, 130 foot by 80 foot or something. And there's about 80 guys here, and we could walk away anytime we want. Just walk home, So there's no fence. Now, right down on the hill, the bottom of the hill, is the medium security. The low security has a fence around it, and then the medium security has a double fence and electrification, and and then the high security has watchtowers with guards with machine guns or whatever. So they have it rated from low, or for camps, lows, mediums, highs, and then supermax. Supermax there's only one of those, and that's in Colorado, where I just came from. And I happened to work at the supermax in the kitchen for a couple of months, so I got to see the inside of that one.
Oh,
like
boy.
450 guys there, and they never come out of their cell. There might be a few exceptions to that, but they're pretty much in their cell all the time, you know.
That's another thing that I'd love to talk to you about another time is, the prison industrial complex. And just, get your thoughts on that, especially with your life experience. I mean, I'd be interested to know what life is like.
Well, I work about 20 minutes for breakfast, washing the dishes, and 20 minutes after lunch, and I'm free all the time. We have a bunch of TVs and there's all kinds of activities for the guys to do, but I read and write. I've written 25 books since I've been in. I write a lot of stories for my grandkids, and I do it all to try to encourage them to be better soul winners.
Yes.
The 3-book series I just finished called The Adventures of the Hovind Grandkids. Oh, man, that'll bless your socks to read that one.
Oh, I can't wait.
I think they're all on 2 Peter 3 if you want to look.
Okay.
But I did a series when they were younger called The Adventures of the 3 Bears, because that was a big thing in their life, the 3 bears. So I had the 3 bears go out and learn about different animals, kind of like Job Martin's Incredible Creatures series that he did. Only the 3 bears would go meet Howard the horse and, Sally the spider, and they would learn things. It's kind of a 7-year-old level creation ministry to teach them about creation versus evolution at that level. So, yeah, this has been a blessing in 1,000 ways. It's been hard in 1,000 ways.
Yeah,
but it's been a blessing too.
When I first found out about you about 3-4 months ago, I actually got my son to watch at the same time. He's a 16-year-old homeschooler, and he's been living and breathing creation ever since. So I gotta thank you first because
good.
I didn't know how to get to him, and you got to him for me. So now he's probably watched every one of your debates.
Oh, those are so fun, man.
Oh, he loves them.
I would
it's
do
entertainment.
Another one in heartbeat. Yeah. Matter of fact, I may be starting one here right from prison. There's a 13-year-old girl from Upper Peninsula, Michigan, wrote me a letter last month and said, hey, my 8th grade teacher is pushing evolution on us in class, and she was all mad in the letter. So I wrote a letter telling her what to do, and I've got another open letter going out to her teacher saying, look, let's have a debate, you and I. Quit picking on these 13-year-olds. Take on somebody who you're not going to give a grade to, who isn't afraid of you, and you can't intimidate them.
Yeah, good luck with that.
He'll back down, yeah.
Yeah, they always do. All the good ones always do.
Well, we offered $250,000 for years for anybody who's got real evidence for evolution. There is none. It's the dumbest. Oh, we got 1 minute left. It's the dumbest theory in the history of humanity.
It truly is. But if you look at why it was introduced, and that was the most interesting thing that your ministry actually gave me the tools for, was to see why. Why was it put forward? And it's amazing, and it all has to do with taking and removing God from society.
Yep, sure does.
It's unbelievable. Well, hey, thanks for the phone call, Kent. I'll tell you what, we definitely got to do this again.
Well, sounds good. I got 15 seconds left, so you let me know. I'd be glad to talk with you, and I'd like to talk to the son sometime too. But they won't let you transfer a call from one person to another. He's got to pick up the phone.
That's okay.
Silly rules here.
We can do that. Have a great night.
Let me know. Thank you, brother. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.